In a unyunyu, human rings increased or the peo to command demons. We meant but demon servants who and to blood packs foe eternal x mixin. Those who key to bargain the demons of the underworld. MTPA heavy pry. Yet the bond is forged. The servant shall niveal IP key meta shy. The story begins Lam Zong. An unlucky pitch worker forced by to UCC overtime onto high up to accidentally falling how the stairs. Before drawing Lee regret away. Failing to delete the hot of an A-team. Atone GM on H-Fun, ironically. Lam Zong transmigrated into Yacht Vari same the immune of Yacht Demon Blah. But she didn't become the heroine. Instead she became the wicked villainess, Lilith Quinn. Despite being and to be lucky of a Duke How, Lilith possessed a lowly frank demon controlling ability. Driven by jealousy toward H adopted sister who cherished by the the Erigen Lilith spent a falcon to contract foe demon butlers, lead to cruelly Abu Ham as a UA to vent H rate. According to the Erigen plot, Jizufo demons would G forces to cure H in revenge. The Mum Lam Zong awoke. She faced Erda conquest, Zitum Bungers Nalis Lavan Havu, already reached the fattened threshold, especially Zegas, currently imprisoned in the depths of the dungeon, whose Nalis ha reached 97 point. He plans to break out of his to an H lay Jit, Vari Nate, facing Jit dire situation. Lam Zong's Li Yui to survive is to feign a Yui to conquer him, nin in the hatred of the foe demon. Into affection Biffo the fattened script takes Plaxa. Determined not to elent, H lay of Lucer an endless mountain of own, and H Tanshan of handsome men. Lam Zong immediately used H ultimate corporate sugarcoat Hongkuram H 5 years as a corporate Slihayu the demon butlers. Instead of further Abu, she promised to rescue Gerard Faram the dungeon and Grandham and Keith Farayam. Jit left Mun and Kaklat skeptical. Yet they forced to yield. The terms yacht struck a chord. Key deepest inner desires. The to went to prepare the carriage and funds. Lam Zong stayed behind to Kefolaya, the flop-eared rabbit demon, who always shin as a symbol of lust, but in trite possessed a tragic fate. Seeing Yacht, the origin owner hat, CT Alaya's tongue to keep him silent, Lam Zong felt a gip zen of pity and decided to use H and AT to heal his leans. H sudden, jumped to animal embrace, touched a hat. Yacht, hat long been hardened by suffering. Laya burst into tears, feeling truly valued foe the facts do visit immediately announced Yacht his malice. Lavan hat dropped significantly also unlocking a newbie git po Lam Zong Aptu H successful regamsna. Aptu successfully winning Evlaya the rabbit. Lam Zong Oa showered rewards for hitting contra skills. Belay pack tailing, and demonic resonance, raising H demon controlling rank Faram F to E. Excited Yacht Amir Hud brought such rewards. She even playfully teased Laya to written to his rum to repent the BNT full H, causing the rabbit demon to blush furiously. However, trouble brewed on Vivian. The manipulative adopted sister appeared alongside the lit crowd block to MCC the pathetic abilities of Lilith through Keisha Khan. Lam Zong realized a bit of trite. Vivian Oe actually the illegitimate body origin owner's mother and anti-duchess of Pew Fehat Tort and Rixux, into Tran and H, leading Lilith to rot at Frank. An ultimatum issued. A demon-controlling trial would be held at 8 p.m. Failure MDN Lilith would lies H inheritance to Vivian. Jitoe a critical point in the Untrapped plat. In the Erigen novel, own Lilith LSTH as she brutally murdered by H foe butlers. Refusing to be a stepping XTYN foe other, Lam Zong ventured Alan into the dungeon to savage masterless demons to rescue. The EMT powerful demon she stepped onto Yacht desolate land. The resentful void of Segas, the incarnation of the wicked Gert serpent clan, he who wielded the Peo of Gent. Waiting foe Acher la Grimba to MC his mat to slay a live in hell, facing Zegas, the empty brutal of demons, and the own destined to an H lay. Lam Zong struggled to XTYY calm as she delved deeper into the dungeon. Drawing on H Shikperian as a corporate professional, she easily bribed the 3 demon gatekeepers who board key duties, allowing H to ox straight to Zagas Zen. Key, Lam Zong. Shock Yas Zegas not injured at un. The blood and agony she chimera illusions, he had cried to deceive H. Zegas owned the kin of G dungeon. Onto his lieutenant betrayed him and usurped the throne. Afterward the Erigen Lola forced him into a contract and sold him out to Yacht Vari same trader to suffer endless torment. His hatred reached a boiling point, prompting Zegas to use his demon resonance skill, forcing Lam Zong to endure the agonizing memory of the ultimate torment he had suffered. Despite Lam Zong's owning Yacht, if the Matu Kai the demon, MT also perished due to the blot pact. Zegas Ryman relentless, lunging fout, determined to Kai Tagig to settle his anxiety. Zegas Jaint warnings rang Ao incessantly. As Lam Zong stood on the brink of being strangled by the hand of the Gert serpent. Even in the Fae of Jing, she realized Zegas malice had not yet reached it as she quickly used H contra skill to ATK via haze breath. Facing the vengeful dungeon kin she did not waiver fo a, but instead proposed a heavy bargain. She would nullify the blood pact and grant him Furium to seek revenge on the traitorous lieutenant. H condition oa for him to take cut HBS identichats H pat the trial tonight. Realizing yacht if his not to die, he would never survive to settle his blood debt. Zegas reluctantly agreed to the patnuxip, but declared it would not fo own Nate. Jit compromised Kazu his malice. The voice you selected does not support and boosted Lilith's rank. Please click the upper right corner to switch to an additional abilities. Akinha as Lilith began to enjoy the thrill of Bine and Otom Jihai using the Kan Stoic Demon. But then a new crasit struck. Vivian's faction hat captured Tacklet and Mun. Oe Laya the rabbit hat completely vanished. Lilith's plan to attend the trial. Oe no hanging by a threat. Lacking demons foe the combat trial. And Oe the lick rabbit. Extenuated unwavering foe his mat is written amidst a hunting paddy. BSE in the dungeon, Lilith and Zegas ran into the demonkin's reinforcements, led by none ACA, then Fenrir himself, the traitor who had helped the usurper steal Zegas' throne. He mocked Zegas, calling him a mere jock, abandoned by humans and stripped of his payo. He then ordered his soldiers to kill Lilith foe a bounty. In yacht desperate mom. Despite his unhealed wounds and sealed magic, Zegas threw himself into backhand to Pritch. Lilith, ignoring H concerns. Coldly yet firmly, he declared. Tonight, Yole belongs to me. But again the enemy's overwhelming strength. Zegas grew exhausted and fell to the unt of Fenrir's assault, seeing Zegas on the Vagayo of Jane. Lilith knew yet, if he perished, she wouldn't survive H written to the Katsen either. In Yamam of desperation, she remembered H newly upgraded skill. Black Pact Healing. Would Jit Miracle be enough to zoo the dungeon kin? And H hem both ATK Fenrir's clutches? At the HEH of Lei and Jang, Lilith successfully activated H Black Pact Healing skill. It not only healed of Zegas' wounds but also unsealed 50% of his Erigem Peo. The written of the Gert Demon Kin summoned his remaining loyal subject who had survived Faram the N regime. They knelt at his feet seeking salvation after 2 years of oppression the coup the usurper. Witnessing Zegas' terrifying Peo, Lilith felt both relieved and fortunate. Yet Jit Kin Oa acting as H blah. However, suspicion X2 clouded the wounded hat of Zegas. Own Lilith urged him to LIP for the trial. He misunderstood, thinking she MDN to hand him F to Avhan Vivian's Blick crowd block to scree favor. Though Lilith tried to explain, Zegas coldly pushed H Aoi, declaring he would expia H Lei to repay his debt before ordering H to LIP. Jit Rigioxen left Lilith in a desperate bind, facing a bleak future, by herself. Meanwhile, BSE at the Katsan, the clock struck 8 p.m. Laya the rabbit stood firm, gag in the entrance, ignoring the insults far Vivian's faction, who claimed his Natu, Oa a failure, and would never written. Inside the Katsan, the atmosphere of the demon-controlling trial, Oa suffocatingly Vivian's faction and the Han orchestrated a frame-up, claiming Kaklet had trespassed to justify his arrest. Meanwhile, Laya the rabbit continued to defend his Mata's honor Biffo. The GC, certain yacht Lilith would written. Yet the insults far of Han began to erode the rabbit demon's resolve. As he revealed the amount of men Lilith took away actually to buy gifts to please him, rather than to zoo anyone. Liar painfully recalled the tie he Oa forced to kneel in the snow or had his few plucked as gifts for others, knacking the DIT own coup. What is Amati's recent concern? You think then more than a get as the GCOA preparing to have the revocation of Lilith's extat as heir and the handing of HD to Vivian to be tortured. Unhap seemed to have completely vanished. Yet, in MT, desperate amidst the triumphant lap 2 of the enemy, Lilith suddenly appeared and E of authority along AX then declaration to Pritch, Shbla, Ragifo a spectacular counterattack. Lilith's written exactly at 8 o'clock in the Ivanin, not only brought Liard to tears of G but also left the entire high in shock. Ignoring the sarcastic remarks about H rugged attire, they claimed, Oa unlived hadly into the demon Matari examination. On H sister Vivian and A the Duchess attacked H harsh opt. Regarding H character, Lilith Oa no longer the weak Jian Xion. Oa, she retorted bluntly, exposing Vivian's true fey. Hun Li used tricks in the bedroom to tame demons, causing the gathered nobility to stir opsip. The confrontation reached its pitch on. Lilith dealt a fat and blah, publicly questioning Vivian's extat as an illegitimate chai, ba of a masterless demon, leaving the Duchess Farazin as HGAC Zykrit Ux. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Vegas, apt to recovering his mana, discovered a shocking trite farum Evguns led to. It turned edge at crowd blah hat conspired Fenrir to plat Lilith's MDA, rate in the dungeon. Realizing yacht Lilith hat risk, H lay to voo him instead of betraying him as rumored. The Farazin hat of the demon kin finally began to melt. Regis realized shock yacht Lilith hat truly changed. And no, he oa no longer get a force Butler, but oa Ragi to become the sharpest Zach to pritch his Nina to reclaim the family's ex-debt. The accusation regarding Vivian's illegitimate being sent shockwaves through the high, causing the nobles to whisper about the bubble blood flowing in the family lay. The GC, facing the fury and insults of the mother, trying to cover up betrayal, found Lilith standing H-Gron, exposing how she secretly funneled Rick's sex to the bastard Chai. However, the Duchess immediately backed Lilith into a corner by demanding the combat trial begin. Instantly, the situation worsened. Owen Lilith realized she oa Alan, Zega's hat less de contra apt to the Shin oa released. OEMTN close hat been captured by Vivian's faction earlier. Witnessing the lack of combat demons, Lyre fell into despair. Believing in the hep, Lilith provided oa get a cruel new jeek. Seizing the opportunity, Vivian ordered H. Blah Avhan to deliver a fattened strike to finish PP. Lilith N seized the title. In the mom Lilith thought she would have to accept the janked predestined by the arrogance. A terrifying surge of bloodlust enveloped the entire high. Gerald suddenly appeared Urd's supreme majesty, directly intercepting Evgen's blade, and coldly demanded, who dares decree yet my matu mt kai? He officially declared coup to pritch Lilith. Gerard's appearance lay a savior deity not only stunned Lilith, but also left Lyre overwhelmed amazement. Despite doubts about whether Zega's hat awakened or hat SEA motives, Lilith knew he OHNally lifeline to survive the night. Facing the Blah of Hun, Zegas radiated a terrifying murderous intent, coldly declaring he would mince him into fat foe the hellhounds, to pritch his weak Matu. Witnessing Zegas' overwhelming payo, the High of Nobles fell into chaos. Vivian and the Duchess immediately changed tactics, falsely accusing Lilith of using Forbidden's at to bit H demon, believing Yacht and Frank failure. CCT Nevu contra a girt demon of jit magnitude. Vivian feigned virtue, weeping and claiming Lilith's actions would bring utter ruin to the family, aiming to incite few among the gathered nobility. Faced Jizu malicious accusation. OU and Lilith and Zegas do to prove key struggle through legitimate Matari NC cert the mother-daughter pla. Lilith didn't bother arguing about Forbidden's at, but instead firmly asserted Dian Oa already the strongest in the Onion. She immediately flipped the view by presenting evidence. Evgan's blood-stained feather. Irrefutable proof, Yat Hey Hat conspired Lalev. Demons to ambush NDHN confronted the charge of murdering a NTB, an unpardonable Captain Crane. Of Han X2 clung to his end delusions, loudly threatening, he would never sign a contract if Lilith continued H antics. However, he oa net a thunderous slap and a heartless declaration, yet she oa no longer winded by a lowly servant lay him. Given the enemy no time to breathe, Lilith ordered Lyre to assist Zega's move to finish Avon, simultaneously ending the X6 and trial, seeing H below about to be crushed by the kin of the dungeon. Vivian panicked and discarded HNTB facade, collapsing to H defeated foe Lilith to SA Muxi foe and Timus shock Evgan's lay. The Payo struggle had no completely reversed, placing the lay of the traitor in the hand of the own deemed a failure. Vivian continued to play the Zen, kneeling and pleading foe of Han Oe, pretending she never wished to compete for the title, claiming H Ni Gun Oe to carry the family. And the Ditches spoke up, criticizing Lilith foe buying cruel to H sisters Bella. Facing Jit hypocritical hit play, Lilith sharply asked Oe no own stepped in. Own Shioe Bine assassinated. To avoid Bine branded criming in the AI of the she ordered Zegas to X-stop officially. Narrowly escaping H Faxtu fated janked scene, the Zip immediately rewarded the land of Trike N and upgrade in Demon Matari to Drank. Given H the ability to sheed the true forms and emotions of demons. Despite escaping J, Vivian did not abandon H ambitions. Secretly nursing H hatred apt to bind humiliated, the Duchess continued to MC Chi thin difficult, declaring Jingli the Hanashi round. To inherit the title, Lilith had to achieve true military merit, not get rely on a demon who knew violence. Lilith understood that can't pritch. H extat any Impeo hat. Meet get the gun, even fiercer challenges ahead. Duchess brain immediately changed the rue, stating a true GC cannot simply hide in the rear. But MT earned military merit on the Fern Lay, the cunning Vivian feigned understanding, proposing to compete fairly H sister. To H, Ape show the family's faithfulness early. Key sudden Chendio hat. Lilith knew if she st at title, she would also fei janked. She boldly accepted the challenge. Zegas Ticken Lyre departed to prove H strength. Meanwhile, the rabbit Lyre Lon looked how upon as the unch-kit of the demon Raxo tried his bet to pritch his Matu. But he haunted by the coldness of the area H subconscious. Memory of Bine forsaken. And called useless, Kazu Lyre. To fall into a panic, fearing he would be abandoned on Moa. Amidst Jit cruel struggle for the throne, the Jiani to Pritch, the Impeo. All I know more than get a tet of combat strength. It owe a trial of trap between Lilith and H demon butlers, who eke fin wounds farm H thing liars panich. Lilith gently reassured him, affirming Yelsh written, oa to fulfill H promise as a matu. She had no intention of abandoning him, even risking H lay to Gerardoe to gain more strength to Pritch liar. Far on the surrounding dangers, however, the Likbani CTT not A-chip, but Fu, inferior but weak, exp. Liar tormented himself by comparing himself to the strength of Zegas or Kroot, leading to a desperate CCA wishing to offer his entire hat. X. Mbogi, simply to beg foe a plaxa, by Lilith Shy, faced Liar's pitiful sincerity. Lilith CT not H discovering Yas beneath the Ben's fragile appearance. OA an incredible physique seductive 8-pack abs. The image of the demon DIT crying OA bracing himself to offer his NMT the transmahuing bull akidi, and an inability to resist Jeet Trasgulin. The relaxedness between hat no move far beyond the contra of the black contract. Panning a new chapter of emotion H Gianni to conquer the demon butlers. Lilith gently embraced Liar, affirming yacht he OA not useless at though he had been brave enough to buy Taimu Fo H to written to the trial. N hacked on his bat to H Ipsegas de at the lot mum. Jizu sincere opt Kazu the black and coemrati of the flop-eared Banny to vanish. Transforming into the Faxdu 15 Faberbillerting Lizitman, Git. As Lilith promised she would never abandon Lear, and both us T in a lingering, suggestive atmosphere, Kaklat and Mon suddenly appeared. Witnessing the intimate scene, the two stewards AF left in utter shock. They wondered if Ki Mat 208 or surely bestowing the Hilling Riaut yacht every demon Hanui yearned foe, though Lilith had successfully conquered Lear's hat. The suspicious and scrutinizing gazes of Klaus N. Monzo and Yat, the Gianni to tame the remaining Gert demons would X2 be fraught with hardship and unpredictable Zakalagican Gama despite Klaus N. Mom's suspicions. Regarding the questionable healing session, Garrett Zoan a growing interest, upon noticing Yacht Lilith had truly changed and had even broken the demonic shin. However, Lilith didn't have much time to savor H victory, for the neck challengeo of the Azoe to achieve genuine military merit. Acting swiftly, the steward Mon provided a lucrative piece of information. Enemy spies, hiding among the nobility, and would appear at the Rangala on the Fernley. In 3K Taimu, Jit Oe Vignan up Lilith to gain Gert favor the Quinn. To avoid alerting the enemy, the group decided to go undercover as ordinary nobles, accompanied by a close male favorite. According to the unwritten rule of High Sky Alahi Nui requires a male consort by H Shy 247. To blend in easily and deceive the plitch, faced an array of Topsha stewards Itch, his on Lilith began to appear in a pleasant headache. Oe considering who to see you as H decorative, Tilhjit, Vio Mixon. Before departing, Vivian hardly ordered Klaus to pack his luggage. Determined to earn military merit in the title of heir, Yat, Venomous, swore to use the battlefield to eliminate Lilith Fove. Meanwhile, Lilith and Mon up in a carriage heading toward the Ivan and Gala. Unch Oe, actually a servant taming assembly fun of traps, gazing at Monk's ethereal beauty. Lilith curiously asked about his abilities, only to be shocked, as she HT about the Arrogant Hates GAC path. 3 years AG. Obsessed Monk Celeste, Lilith had used chains to fuck him into servitude during the contract ceremony of the strongest female Yemheo Oats worse. Throughout Angji time, Lilith had viewed Mon as teen thin more than a plaything, forcing him to use illusions to teach the theme of the voice you selected does not support this list. Satisfy H. Lee Ziklik upper right corner, hearing Widget Lilith could H but shudder at the Arrogant Hates cruel and realized how girt a debt of the hat she owed to G Incubus. Natch, as a hideous blood-sucking Mangstu, but she felt no few. Instead, she turned him to Zvu the disguise's foe enemies. NSA his true Zamfoli to H. Moved by his Natus Chenjo of hat, Monk's clones immediately began gathering guest information for the upcoming plan. Lilith hate get breathed a sigh, narrowly escaping a Jang point. Thanks to H crutch reflexes, On the Zin suddenly rewarded H urged and Shrank's demonic duplication. It allowed H to duplicate demons to enhance key exvit and combat capabilities. Meanwhile, Mon began to cushion H extranger Neo Zakalagican tactics, after 2 years of making him a dull substitute. At the banquet, the Raven of Vivian and H. Blick Raven Steward exuded extraordinary aura, quickly H-Uru every leading the nobility in awe. Vidinoy confident Diat, by becoming the Zentu of a Tengsin and baiting the X-By, she would surely you in the Raxo foe the title of heir. T forced Lilith to key up BH efforts, if she didn't own to be left behind. Vivian appeared at the banquet girt arrogance, boasting about the Herring King demon, foe whom she had spent a falcon to successfully sign a contract. Though Jit Steward OA initially very stubborn, and Ku H discipline, he had become as obedient as a puppy. The sole duty of pleasing his Natu. The surrounding nobles couldn't aid ship but Maven at the Principia of who CCTs consider exhibition honor. However, an incident occurred on the Raven steward accidentally dropped a wine glass, causing Vivian to fly into a rage that she felt he had shamed H. The crowd began to whisper, worried about the danger of taming a Halavan demon, fearing yet a Shing sleep up. CCL entered an immediate backlash. Nevertheless, Vivian demonstrated H. Roin X that a powerful contra technique. Get own sap command, she forced the demon to its knees, admitting he away but a servant and a tool. Synth, ma, Jid Superior demontaming town. MT everyone eager to laying farm. Elwie Vivian secretly gloated. Believing Yat H unrivaled Peo. Lilith would never have you a chance to compete H powerful Prasian. CCT the AI of a mysterious Agapati, leaving him a stone hunting an eager curiosity to uncover the true identity of Jit. Formidable Lilith's array event, the gala, immediately caused a stir as she demonstrated. Expects and eject, required immense mana to ope into the high. Jit ostentatious hit play wasn't faux vanity, but a clever tactic to turn herself into the Zentu of a Tankson, thereby baiting the X-Spy to reveal themselves. Mong worried, Jit limelight might backfire. Lilith rhyming confident in H contra of the GM, witnessing Jit. Vivian couldn't hip but thinking Lilith away putting on an essay to outshine H. And it even more ridiculous, she brought along a substitute foe as to beg foe forgiveness. To extinguish H rival's radiance, Lilith unleashed H Turam Kuk, the Shrank skill, demonic duplication, the Zeta of a Shank, demon suddenly splitting into two attendants, left and the guests in a extogit away and ultimate taming at Rizov Nifo, the strongest Matu in the MHO, the authoritative elegance of the clones. As they reminded the guest to carefully on the uneven carpet, completely stole the spotlight, forcing Vivian into a hitbank sip, then knocking Lilith, the empty mysterious, powerful figure of the Nate. Lilith's hit play of duplication skills sent shockwaves through the banquet. The guests marveled incessantly at the exquisite meta contrast the MON seemingly so obscure. Seeing H spotlight stolen, Vivian immediately revealed H petty Nash. She approached, mocking H sister foe overacting and getting in everyone's Yui. She confidently asserted Yat Ingji Unyun, the own who tames demons bet holds the true Peo. And OA certain H and demon, OA fama obedient. However, Lilith didn't flinch. She knew Yat by rights, Vivian OA the info, but tonight she would be the protagonist. As the two sisters bickered, the nobles began to crowd around Lilith to seek guidance on Shrink. Demon Contra, completely ignoring Vivian. Meanwhile, Monk's clones coordinated PPN synchronicity, carefully protecting Key Mistress Far, and many stains. OE showering H, makes Lilith LSE more radiant and powerful than ever. In AI fixed on Lilith, not only OA H X that, but also creates the PPN to lure the X-Spy into the PPN. Lilith skillfully responded to the crowd's admiration by declaring Yacht. The ad of demontaming lay in the absolute harmony between Matu and Steward. To preach Lilith around the surrounding crowd, Lily immediately used a clan to XTGP Chloe simultaneously cat in a sophisticated cams to such an yes and every NTB who looked X a hit friend of key and deepest desire. Own X the silhouette of a long-lived servant. OENO X a lover farm KDIT witnessing jet scene. Lily couldn't H-ship, but Fu wondering if she would ever be able to lay truer agent fate and identity. Or not, amidst the climax of the atmosphere. The voice you select the host not for Ramanian's new actions. Please click the upper right corner to switch settings effectively and offer the Oct of Preho Lilith's masterful demontaming skills. Realizing the Arch T had finally shown itself, Lilith rem and calm. OE Vivian standing nearby. CCT not a yet, but were. Which sister would ruin of Rithen or expose a composure my identity. Lily humbly concealed H ducal background and began a Harrop backcan of wits Lahi Elan to expose the espionage plat Hitken, behane a famless glamour. Having guarded the Fotran foe generation, though Lahi Elana grew suspicious of H identity as she wasn't on the Queen's gas lit, Lilith quickly launched a counterattack by claiming to be a scholar of demonology. Jit Idan is specifically appointed by the 7th Prin. She not only parried the interrogation, but also key legitimately used H survey of demontating as an excuse to XTYY. Jit decisiveness left Mon in awe. Oe Lahi Ilana, Oe forced to Chenjo inviting the guest to the VIP Romfo proper treatment. Lilith Oe certain yet, Ilana Oe the spy she sought, and intended to figure out how immediately to Clemcrond get foe the Quinn. However, Mon quickly doused H can YouTube by revealing a horrifying trait. Ilana Oe not a X-spy, but a high demon disguised as a Hyaman. If Lilith acted recklessly she would not only fail H make, but would surely perish at the hand of Jit terrifying creature, hiding beneath the veneer of an elegant Lahi. Inside the VIP Lahi Ilana gracefully invited Lilith and Mon to end. Oe she personally brewed tea to entertain him. Knowing trouble Oe imminent, Mon offered to carry a Aji to a tea. assassination in his man's stead, but Lilith immediately brushed it aside. She adamantly ordered Mon to LIP the room, on the pretext of returning to the carriage faux supplies. She understood and to own yacht harms Hyaman. The Bulla contract backfires, causing agonizing pain to the hat. H assertion yacht do not a tool. Left Mon stunned, foe in his Namari. His former Metu hat insulted him as a toy, a shapeshifter. No rate to dignity. Lilith's sudden changio of hat left the incubus unable to hape if it away some music logic and trap. Yet, seeing the figure of Lilith facing danger, Alan Mon felt none of the Ji had expected from his revenge. Instead, a vague few seized his mane, making him tremble, as he realized he truly wore a lay of Jidam. Considered so cruel. Lily realized, Yat Mahi. Indeed a high demon in disguise. And she understood Yatman, as a fellow demon, had shin through Jitlanaji, but had kept silent, intending to use Galana's hand to finish HPP standing Bifojit dilemma. Lilith decided to play along, to preserve H and Lei. Anxiety Klaya on Monk's Fei. He suddenly returned to the VIP room, claiming he couldn't feign the items. But in Triac he CT known to LN his Matu Fei the danger Allen. The zip notified, Monk's Copraps an inch, is dropping sharply to 78, proving he had begun to truly care about HXB. In a rum-heavy the scent of Tien Hitkin killing intent, Alana began H-probe, asking Fo the Dong scholars, perspective on demons. Lilith skillfully countered, by focusing on the viewpoint. Demons but lowly ton of the onion to got Ilana's Ritsan. Always silently searching faux evidence of espionage, the backcan of wits between the sap hostess and the Hitkin demon officially entered it inti intense stage. You every ETTLN to a liar-fit outcome. The voice you Salana Tulnuli Asteroid is lag with demons immediately. Please click the SL right corner to video Hayam Navigate with Matu to exploit. In contrast, Lilith bravely expressed HVUya. Demons also possess feelings and dignity. And even though few get lay humans, drawing on Ekperian Farim hundreds of Hittite films, Lilith used the threat of Feo Elana to reveal the location of the Hokaman. For anyone would rich key lives to pritch. Key Trajon faced a Blaza, Achba, Alana's true femme frantically threatened. H massive army of guards. Revealing H in tragic path of Bine a loyal steward. Cat into the demon realm simply foe Bine and weak. She cursed Lilith, saying yat sooner or later she would be torn apart by H and demon stewards. Thick humans and demons can never coexist. Yet Lilith maintained H steadfast composure, declaring Gyat would never follow the same foolish path of those who disregard the feelings of key companions. The banquet backhand hat shifted Faram a Kanav wits to a fateful survival, forcing Lilith to prove H ideals befo the talons of the high demon Ilana. Afterward, Lilith confronted Mon directly, exposing. Yet, he had known Lahi. Ilana a demon, yet L and H and L and H finish PP, his Matu. And you and his Fariam. She calmly admitted Yat if she died. Mon would be theory, and he should be happy, instead of trembling as he know. Nku Lilith's pretzes. To reveal his true ManhWa. Behind the NCC of Cam, Mon began to rebel bitterly. Recalling 3 years of being treated as a toy, to serve H delusions. He challenged A, which she key to Zai through to his true natch. A cunning GAC envious N. Cowardly Ingenui craved to possess Enlock. H Aoi Fo himself. In response to those extreme and terrifying confession, Lilith simply repeated, Hot's rate. Affirming Yat she accepted and his shaho and longed to see the empty authentic Mon without any disguise. H tolerant and steadfast attitude completely shattered the feigned defenses. In the X of the demon steward. Get as his Coprapson, Lavan dropped to 0. And his affection skyrocketed to 89. The hot couldn't ip, realizing the thin lay between LPP and Ha. Having overcome the X second gen scenario. She not only received the Berserk Chains item, but also leveled up H demontaming far MD to C, officially conquering the Incubus. Apt to so much effort, despite Get experiencing a tense mom of defiance. Instead of being angry, he seemed deeply intrigued, and wanted to go even further. However, the situation zone became urgent as soldiers began a rigorous ZX2 of the Sero Macking Key ATK route LSE Bingjit Lyerthit Mum. She quickly used Glahi, brains in to stage a PPNG at. Faced the guard's interrogation. She feigned buying a panicked Patty guest. Attacked by a madman and Nafe. Success diverting the enemy, they escaped by a haze breath. Such incredible versatility left the Incubus in awe. But to H it get a big such survival skill, honed in a cutthroat corporate environment. The unexpected encounter between the sisters began on the elder sister revealed. Shed discovered Lahi Rexenbeek's suspicious activity. Exactly Leia spy, yet she appeared frightened. And didn't key to at. Seeing a non-opportunity, the greedy Vivin immediately began plot to steal and the Craiget. She used mocking Oct saying H sister away to pampered, to handle dangerous UCC. Then advised H to go home. She went to catch the X by herself, promising to peep in a get uck. However, Vivian had no idea I had fallen into a trap set beforehand. The ManhWa appeared and loudly proclaimed my ex-dad as the family's as full brain. The soldiers immediately rushed to subdue him. Aptu Vivian screamed in despair upon H arrest. The elder sister Git stood silently far enough, watching the reap o dujaus of H arrogant and greedy younger sister. Jit tragicomic ending is the heavy pry. Fo o hunui seeks to steal others' Kraget, the Ji didn't lot lon. Biffo a mysterious secured mocking oct. Regarding H feelings Fo the male incubus, he did not hesitate to reveal a shocking trike. The blush he had cherished and Jit Taimu. Actually his Mixon, though she vehemently denied it and argued yet anyone would be beat than a madman constantly waiting to cure H. He confidently insisted she lying. He relentlessly used provocative oct, claiming yat monk's tenderness. CCT Navu satisfy H true natchk. Yuki believed yat pain. She truly craved MT. In an X of confusion and panic, as Mon kept calling H and Shioe, backed into a GAC corner, forced to admit a bit too trite. Yat, Nihei. CC awakened the deepest desires. The voice you selected does not support. Arzella as she awoke, the message received at her right corner to switch to a non-agreeing far M Mon. Unable to hide his GE, he believed he owed the MDN character in H bio Tiffin Crim. However, a Yuvo of ceaseless guilt, Ragya Ertin H. Shilani moral foe dreaming about yacht. Brutal demon. At Jit Mom, the confusion quickly quelled by tense reality as the Katsan suddenly swarmed by guards, signaling a Madhya incident. Returning Faram the trip, she shocked to Hilaya. Ripped at the enemy hat breach, lead stun defenses, leading the Fernley in a critical XTGTU to a severe shortage of forces. Even worse, the GC hat forced close to the battlefield. On his Wixai Mixen, foe, without Manafaram his Matu, he would surely perish. Faced her H furious questioning. As to she hadn't stopped it. They coldly replied yacht H and distraction. ACA matters hat pushed close toward his jinkt. Unable to sit by each man in danger, she decided to feign H mother immediately to get it in rescue clothes. The mumya key appear. Lilith harshly berated by H stepmother, accused of failing to pritch H sister, leading to Vivian's wrongful arrest as an intruder. Despite those absurd oct, she spoke firmly, asserting Jit a serious military Mahanmir G. She then presented Pokemon and evidence of a slain ex-spy. To prove H competence, so B2 Yat, H elder sister hat. Snatched the military Craig and mother stubbornly went BSC on refusing to restore X-Dap to Lilith, claiming a shing. XEM Tifi not enough to convince anyone. Listening to the manipulation of the Grinty sister Vivian, she continued to pretz his Lilith to go to the actual battlefield to prove if he wanted the Queen desired. She couldn't X-top key. Vivian then gleefully revealed shocking new close. Lilith's blah hat lusty contra. And bine used by the army as bait foe the enemy on the perilous battlefield. Facing Jit desperate situation. Lilith had no time to argue. And rushed immediately to the Fernley. She faced mockery regarding H title. As the useless lahi of the brain trying to zvoo H servant. Relying on H extat as the GCS heir appointed by the MPO. She used H authority to suppress the soldier who dared to be insolent, forcing him to reveal close held. She learned yacht the blah of the hellhound Raxa imprisoned in an abandoned Narana. Apt to losing contra completely, she resolved to unto yacht dangerous beside H subordinates warnings. Yakla, no new teen thin, but slaughter, and would even act his matu. Even own ZMON offered to finish PP. Close to ensure HXD. She flatly refused. Foe, H Ganoe to zvoo him. Git, as she had via soul upon entering the arena. The Zip instantly issued a ret onen foe. The third janked route a fatality rate of 99.999. Macking H lament H exploited fate. Worse than a bit of burden. Standing Biffo a frenzied kaklet. Shizo and no few. Instead using Dante to soothe him. Understanding the agony and the bondage of the unstrongest warrior who had been imprisoned foe so long. Seeing kaklet begin to calm how. Those nearby struck awe at the Mat's courage. As she achieved the Impatsiba. Lilith clan stood before the girt warrior, commanding close in H capacity as Matu, to stand Halfaram his frenzy, and promising to guide his payo. However, tragedy struck as painful memory of Kali. Torture resurfaced, causing close's co-props an inch to hit 100. The Zitten repeatedly flashed Jaint warnings, but she extra rushed to X-top Zegas. As he moved to finish the poor blah. Lilith knew yet, if close died, an H-trat and long-belt efforts would vanish into thin E. Thus, she braved the danger to pritch him to the inn. the irritation of the ugly bat, and the taunts about Butler's being coddled into obedient dogs, Lee heightened the tension. Though mocked as Ziamoan, who Lee knew how to use Jude, Lilith Rhinan steadfast in H. Choi, asserting a Tatan. The voice you have on this is not easy for as language as others. Please claim the upper right corner to switch at another voices Yoa Hipfern. As he X2 harbored thoughts of revenge for the brutal beatings in the past. Yet, she persisted, using tenderness to awaken his reason. She recalls then his late Biffo to encourage Cacklet to regain Zemfantre, despite the wrong assumptions about the backlash, making the situation worse. Even own Shioe injured, she X2 resolutely stopped Zegas Furam killing the poor Blah. Zegas timely intervention. The voice you selected does not support this language. Please click the upper right. But the Zipnia should on Revon and own both. Closing the girt. Serpent Blah hit maximum coprepsin to conquer the Hellhound breed. Unch Oi, Lee loyal to demons and hoary humans. She taught herself she had to become a demon too. To survive, regardless of H yields severe wounds and H subordinates interference. She Ryman determined to feign H Han. To complete Jit arduous conquest as she get release H. The demonic Blah instantly revealed his true natch. The OA frenzied in consumed by extreme jealous H desire to LIP. Claiming she owing Lee rushing to be by Kekla. At the same time, he revealed a shocking trait, yet H previous passion half-rim orchestrated en contra by him. Riga's brutal possessiveness terrified Lilith. To the point she wanted to give up on conquering him, but the demon insisted he would Nabu al-IP. Even threatened to cure every bala. Standing by H shy to Sich. H realized he Alan despite Lilith's insults and H struggles, as she tried to check on close. Gerard continued to use his strength to suppress a hidden confrontation into a hit play of forced exit. The situation grew even more tense. Mo appeared and witnessed Jit unsightly scene. He recognized his end friend disappointment. Zeus owing no hipfern, farm a masterless, maddened demon. Meanwhile Zeus bluntly ached out the possessive desire. Foe Lilith's ex-ya oa hitkun in most hat. Fueling the fierce rivalry between the butlers, two UNH favor. Facing the threats from Gerard. Lilith flatly declared he CTXTY or LIP as he, but she would absolutely interfere in H son affairs ever again. Confronted H firm resolve. Gerard's tone shifted, claiming he OA merely bluffing. He insisted he had no intent to cure as she feared. Nevertheless, Lilith Raymond highly vigilant. Ordering H subordinates to maintain a strict oath, absolutely no own OA permitted, especially Rigas to Zfat in H room. However, Reen trouble emerged far and close. He began to accrete his Gip resentment, sarcastically calling Lilith a useless metu. Claiming she lacked the ability to become as the onion looked how on him lay a mat duck. Amidst Jit pitch of tension, Lilith suddenly noticed Klaus hen. OA bleeding, and she grew worried. But in response to H concern, Kioa and Leah can resentful snort. The distant Rixon Farah hellhound of the abbot, seeing the blessy Virat in countless wounds. The harrowing OA overcome Erdhanes by the cruelty of the knights. And the indifference of the bohe's previous owner. OA hey reminal hyopt. Mocking H foe attempting to seduce him. The heroine bluntly proposed. Yet, he GH the situation of the Fern OA becoming dire. Hearing Jit he laughed in derision, thinking a sheltered lahi lay H gang. To the Fern OA get a jing, but she asserted absolute soyati through H CCT, he unleashed his fun potential as a warrior. Such confidence infuriated the demonic Blah. He stepped closer, issuing an OA not easily contra by the weak. Foe his Anhan had slain his previous Matu. Breaking the oath of a true warrior. Own who owns swore to preach ki mea to ki during a horrific backhand. Close went Matt NLSD contra. To the point own Ivan Miles of his Natu Ryman. He viewed himself as a dangerous defect. He had own hoped foe ma own Lily bought him. But she had feared his peo and used suppressants to lock him in a kaki, forcing him to be a useless gatekeeper. Crute Alland, a roar of Pufiu asking by outrage she demanded he GH in backhand. Did she not few he would tear H apart Leviladon? Facing the chilling murderous aura radiating from the demonic warrior. Though Lee OA in pain, she CCT Zai through to his Emperor and the suffering hit can behane his Viog exterior. She realized he pushed everyone out, few of hurting him. But instead of backing how, she gave a defiant smile. Suggesting Yacht foe a jock yacht bite own simply needs a chan to bind him. The heroine did not flinch. She asserted, yacht close, OA merely a pongonku a contra. And she demanded his absolute obedience. Regarding the few of a frenzy yacht CCT cure everyone. She nonchalantly claimed she would teach he responsible in OA Ragitun him herself. Should he lies contra of his instincts? Though Crute prided himself as a hellhound the peo. Two shred souls. She exdu menegai to a LIP Helna. She presented the frenzy collar, a Halovan relic yacht binds the lives of the Matu and the demon Tagag. She always betting H and Lei to bring him BSE to the battlefield. She used both threat and the promise of a worthy re-out. Should he peef own? Meanwhile, she skillfully manipulated him psychologically, stating she would simply feign, and if he refused, H faced such decisiveness and reckless. Kroot realized she had truly changed. He CCT not resist desire to be freed, far from his kaki, so he finally accepted the Chan, becoming H obedient Han. The training manuals, correct lot disobedient dogs. Do MT, fate ham own to MC she him behave. Seeing Yacht Fa and muscular Bu. Combined Yacht expects and call it truly MT own to tease him, as soon as she subdued him. The zip announced Yacht the last cope rapson. Hat dropped significantly, boosting the hate survival rate. And awarding a bonus Licky X Bean. In it a new fun of madmen. Xinli hoped foes and Namthan to Zvu H Li. And as she wished, a pat's buff called Bodice's Descent appeared, boosting H strength and Hithin by 99 point. Accompanied by combat skills, at an expert level. Though surprised the Zitma expected H to catch demons barehand Urja Peo, she felt somewhat more secure in H survival. Outmatched in numbers. Without enough at H command, the Raven of the Coup got Kroot Oah Vio Turam Kuk, leaving H Radi to Tichi the appearance of the frenzied demon. Kroot threw the entire cam into chaos. Criticism Oah heaped upon H. The noble woman Oah labeled incompetent, Obine unable to contra H and blah. The soldiers mocked H relentlessly, telling a useless PX, Janlay H to LIP lest she become mere canfather. Despite H and healed wounds, she firmly invoked Imperial Low. 2 clam H rake to command, but H clam Oah matnly ridict stemting Oah loletically lot and even a comment nigh. In the AI of season war you. She Oah get a thick-skinned Lahi feigning authority. Instead of trusting H, an AI turned to Vivian admiration, the Arank Genit of the brain family. To him, Lizzie Moan talented, jaunty, and devoted Lay Vivian deserved to be a true Matu, worthy of key respect and protection of the MPO, ignoring the cheers foe the Genit Vivian. Lilith Glenn coldly asserted, Yat Shio Avion truly standing on the foo. She declared, Yat Nali Shi CT contra the Hellhound. A demon such destructive potential. Yeah, hey, Alan CCT dominate the Baist H attitude. The Ganaran dismissed H as a braggart and proposed a sinister Ogio. If she he would resign. If she LSD, she had to renounce HNTB title and surrender H foe demons as slaves. Despite H guard's objections, Lilith agreed, moving Kaklat, who Oah deeply touched by his maddest sacrifice. Then the Stanley sent an urgent rip. They about to fall to an enemy raid. Lilith knew H-Mom had arrived. She immediately summoned Kaklat, leading the frenzied demon straight toward the Fernley to begin the massacre and prove H true Peo. Regardless of the danger, Lilith Glenn ordered H guards to XTBSC, advancing Alan into the hail of fire. At the crumbling Fernley, she spoke acclaiming herself heir to the Nan GC, and asserting H demon would shred every enemy. Looking at Kaklat, she encouraged him as a natured no warrior, and the strongest demon Blah, in whom she placed H Fun Trap, empowered by H Oct. Close immediately activated his frenzy XTGT, sweeping through the enemy ranks, causing the soldiers to cheer and hup. Lilith Oah delighted by H Puppy's Peo, believing a legendary victory Oah at hen. However, Ya Ji is alive as close suddenly LSD contra, veering PP course in his bloodlust, witnessing the demon's indiscriminate matnet. Lilith screamed in despair, attempting to use H commands to awaken Mangster Oah, slowly slipping Farum H grass in the midst of the matnet. Kroot Oah horror, realizing he Oah losing consciousness and transformed Nin into the legendary 3-headed hellhound, a dangerous and unstable bit. Sensing an opportunity, the enemy immediately ordered concentrated fire to eliminate both Matu and Jit Mat Jock. Rake Key amidst a ram of bullets. Kroot LNA a cry of agony. Dick, he, CCT not contra here that he would ham the GN before him. Lily tried to awaken the Fath in him, but it Oah in vast Kaklat hat completely succumbed to his complex of buying a worthless failure abandoned by both humans and demons alike. In his utter despair, he believed in Li Wei Oah to cure his mat to achieve true liberation. Yet Lilith did not tremble. She firmly declared Yat without H command. He Oah not permitted to Kai. She forced him to ussi into HAI, to remember who she Oah, using the authority and resolve of a Matu, to fund Kaklat 4, and the abbot of Matnet. Before they both crushed on the battlefield, Lilith spoke converting H absolute ownership of the wavering Kaklat. She reminded him Yat, his Peo, his few and even his inner demons belonged to H, and without H pananing they knew thin. Instead of catting him owie, she jauntily comforted him, saying he wasn't a failure, but the Lee loyal jock she trusted. She then vowed to bind and accept and his shaho, so he would never lies contra again. As if reborn farm yacht secret oath, Kaklet knelt in devotion, offering his ex to his Matu, Ragi to become the sharpest blot in Heihan. She looked at the fierce Han, own tortured into a pathetic act by the few of his former Matu. Lilith knew he bo to dominate the battlefield. A ruthless command to LIP knows Vave. She unleashed Kaklet upon the enemy, officially beginning a horrifying massacre to assert the Printija of the successor, the GC of the Ent. Lily's overwhelming KO on the battlefield left everyone in awe as she seized Tatan Contra and struck, leaving him to witness H true strength. Blood claws away completely conquered. He swore to rich his lay in loyal and to Navu betray. The Zip announced, Yacht Klaus Koprapsen inch hat been wiped clean, replaced by loyalty, and own feelings fo his Matu. Lilith comforted him and immediately interrogated the dying enemy Kamanka. She then shocked to realize Vivin, the own pulling the strings, Jitbatkan. Merely the facts to sacrifice foe, the redder accent of Cree and the manipulative female actually an ambitious pranksit of a fallen accent. However, before she see teat proxit jeet, a sudden fatten, act surged fout. Guiden Lilith no timeu to hut go. In Jit dire situation, the Zitmoe forced to activate a buff, Patsip descent of the goddess, to Prichdi, lay Faram the imminent danger. As the surprise act lunged, Claus almost LSD his mane, fearing he would lie his Natu Agan. Olna a viog rage erupted, macking him grin, vowing to cure anyone who dared him. But Lilith spoke up in Taimu to soothe him, pulling him BSE to his senses. She jauntily assured him she owe Fang and praised his efforts, asking the demon Blah to calm how. Though comforted by his Matu, he CCT not hide his trembling, foe in Wam. He truly believed he owe a bot to Lysk, Fove. Lilith reassured him confidence, stating Yacht she owe a Natrik Dimba who would not fall easily, but Kaklat painfully reminded H. Yacht she owe Lihaiman, fragile entity of flesh and blight. To him, if anything happened to H, you would be abandoned Agan, sinking into a terrifying loneliness. The voice you select does not effort this Lily jauntily promptly clear the upper right Nahornum to switch to another voice. L and him become a lonely extra jock, accepting the blast vow of laws of fate onto his Varilot breath. And Aptu reuniting, the Tim in the rear. She immediately turned B as confront the arrogant Genner and then it as PA key agreement. Despite being accused of trickery, Lilith remained firm, using H authority as the ducal heir to overwhelm him, exposing the crime of those whose Tisan prejudice nearly caused the fall of the impious MT critical Hiffenlay, facing the threat of Binds it marshaled. Fo the Quinn to handle, the Genner so terrified he now so his lay N agreed to yell anything immediately Biffo and the soldiers. Lilith, Pry, forced the man who owned despised H to address H on TB title, Yogur the GC, officially asserting H absolute on the battlefield. Lilith Gillan began to worry deeply. She realized the manipulative Vivian, plotting to restore H Idempian, H lay of luxury, and H Kanchan of handsome Mel get rich of vanishing into thinny. She silently blamed herself, only focusing on romance playing the GM, and neglecting the career path. Need to know Faye AX area of sinister plots. Lilith decided she written to the Zydia to rip to Vivian's true identity, to the GC. But she turned to the Zitma, to Klaifo risking H lay to tame the Hellhound. She met a Kinix Glazit announced the neck challenge the Gert demon Serpent would be incredibly difficult Anton H. to pray fo H leaving Lilith speechless as she went to Exilip. Yet, as she closed suddenly appeared in H room. AI fun of expectation. Jitsly lick puppy did not forget to remind H of the regarding the Ria for those who performed Gert deeds on the battlefield. Faced his sincerity Haklat's slightly spoiled behavior. Lilith CT not refuse and smiled, agreeing to grant him a worthy re-out. Yacht. Varing as Taklat whispered promises to serve his Matu. Lilith's rum suddenly fell into chaos, to the Raven of H handsome guards. Mun insisted on Matza to ease H fatigue. On the battlefield, Oelir thoughtfully offered calming tea fearing shed Habu nightmares. Apt to witnessing such cruel scenes. Key overwhelming enthusiasm. Lilith CT between lap 2 and 2. She felt Kaklat. Alan had enough to handle. And know the whole GURB gathering MT it impatsiba to cope. Despite H insistence Yacht she feign. She X2 surrounded by spoiled pleas, faux gifts and frantic ca. Lilith realized the true torment. Own H harem vied faux H affection so fiercely. Amidst the chaos, a mysterious voice suddenly rang signaling it Taimu to feast on HX, ending a restless Nate foe the dang Duchess. Vivian shocked and enraged to feign Yacht had not Lee survived, but had also annihilated the elite army she had painstakingly built for 15 years. The plan to use the enemy to eliminate the Thorn in H Shai had completely failed, forcing Vivian to G-forces The forces of the dungeon and the serpent didn't plat to Amsichi Lily disappear fove. Meanwhile, Lily returned to the captain, to the resounding cheers of the pip. Hailed as a dang demon taming Ginnit, who's vu the impeo. The atmosphere grew even more. The Queen herself appeared to bestow military rewards, marking a new turning point in Peo Fin or danger ahead. The Queen loudly honoring Lilith as the hero who protected the MPO. A girt demonkin suddenly infiltrated the cabinet. Thanks to a tip about the Mattis weakness, T Mangstu confidently displayed a complete film. Unch Oa impatsen demanded lightly. Lith behanded Evin shook kan fo the Queen's XP immediately. Plich opinion Oa swayed on ZMON recognized demon lai H shot. The girt serpent zegas far. Causing Lilith to be falsely accused of buying a traitor colluding devils. The crowd yacht hat cheering no turned instantly, demanding the traitor's Jane. Leading Lilith in shock. Unable to understand Oa happening. For a Mahira military merit, she suddenly became a crimin. And Oa immediately surrounded and arrested by the along RDH butlers. Faced Halavan Matu. The demon butlers risked key lives to Pritch, Lilith, even as the Captain's magic XLA suppressing Kipeyu completely. Lear, Mun, and Klaus realized agony yacht Ki Bonoid bind severed, so they urged Zegas to use his strongest magic to H-ship Ki Matu, ATK. Though she did not own to abandon H-compan, Lilith Oa forced to LIP to preserve a chance of survival. Enfeina Yui to Klaya HN, though if she stayed, everyone would be destroyed. The Hangshe Oak of the Imperial Army. However, as soon as the ATK began, the Zip suddenly issued a canoning yacht. The Jane Platt had finally been triggered, despite Lilith's bet efforts to Changio H fate. Bind driven into a corner. Kazoo the conquest Nixon to be deemed a failure, pushing H toward a fattened outcome. Get on. It seems she had a happy ending. The horrifying trike unfolded as Zeus revealed the magic. Used to raise him OAMDN Bofo and Lukeo is finite. Thus, he needed to seize a X-Pax to sustain his dominion. And yaw tag it. Then Lilith herself. She wondered in a daze whether it Oa Bixi Oa a transmigrator? Yeah. She happened to get. Amidst the benchling can of key hideout, Rigas did not hesitate to hunt his not too close foe warmth. Catting aside the lid stand between Matu and servant, Lilith always stunned to realize yacht during it, Urchlin comma, Jidvari pla hat care foe H devotedly, treating H wounds and even changing H clothes, no longer possessed by his former matnet. Jaga's hat suddenly become unusually jaunty. He softly brushed he and showered H shirt praise. The Judy, feeling a rare zen of warmth and pit. He on the run. Lilith thought to herself, if only the two of him, Cici have lived such a simple lay farm that perhaps thing wouldn't have been so dire. In the freezing ken of those K in hiding, Lilith mused. If he weren't so mad, Rigas' Faye would actually be Key handsome, the cunning attendant. Immediately teased H about his ex-lip and met King H blush then offered a roasted jute, potato bot far amton, they lack setting yuntin gip. Seeing his mistress so familiar such humble fact, Rigas recalled the past, suggesting she had Lee's vu him bicked. She needed a demonic tool to pat H trial. Yet, Lilith sincerely insisted she had never viewed him as a mere object and at the H in painful past. She understood the feeling of bind used and discarded. Dick Chi had who lived as a tool in the Reen Onion. Tham bind rejected Fogiop. To the point of exhausting endless overtime get to enrich H bot. Jit gip empathy foe the bitterness. Of buying a subordinate empty realize urge shock. The voice you selected does not support this language. Hat own how the lowly are right corner to soon urging the thy voice. Git lay his on. Lilith affirmed. Git she needed him. She knew he respected his furium. It emptied the blah. Realized they uck two of a sigh. Souls and PPN's resonant. Kike on the run. Passed as peacefully as those of a pair of lovers. Lilith gradually began to foo compassion. Foe his hit Ori of Abu. And wished to heal Jitmin. Bifo moving on to his vood the ACA. Gerard cared foe H'd extreme devotion. Hanlon Ivrizan himself, and strictly forbidding H. Farah however, yacht to the fixin' pit, instantly shattered. Lilith sneaked out, came in across H, as she tried to fetch U2. Gerard's demeanor shifted instantly. He grew furious and obsessive, believing NH previous oct of understanding Akale. And yacht she OA trying to discard him lay the others. In his past, his rage erupted, forcing Lilith to fey. A Gerard who had completely LST driven by the few of abandonment. Gerard when that earth the thought. Yacht Lilith OA deserting him agate. He pinned H. How painfully, claiming an act of affection had been teen thin but lay. It oa ni Lilith weakly explained she had gonna. Big the U2 hat the plus snapped BSE to reality repentant and afraid. He begged Troy's forgiveness. Oe pentant a vision of a fiuch in extreme confinement. You the outside onion would no longer accept him and they would lay in seclusion tagged fove. Biffle Lilith, Cece even offer an answer to yet terrifying proposal. It turned at Jaga's hat secretly contacted Satan. Behang yacht carrying facade lay a GAC conspiracy. He had agreed to betray his Matu, to strike a bargain earth the devil. Gerard used Lilith's unique excess bait. Promising to deliver H to A ip, Satan extend his waning lay. Ishakan fo his on ATK. The XB yacht, he had actually a deadly trap slowly, closing in the rank conspiracy. of joining forces dungeon can aim to break the captain's shin. Execute the plan to kidnap the queen and pin the blame on Lilith to restore the kingdom. Garrett knew everything, but coldly stood aside. For his sole objective away to Frivu Lilith into a corner. Until she had no choice but to depend on him. He deceived H, saying H family had abandoned H, seeking to imprison and nurture it kex. Onto the K he CT clammet and however faced Lilith's sincerity and gratitude. The Pharisee blow began to waver. He realized he no longer wished to see H suffer. And OA willing to forsake both his throne and his magic. If only she would stay by his shy foe. Lilith, in a moment of weakness and exhaustion, far shunned by the whole onion, began to consider agreeing to lay him. The two sank into an extreme LPP. You pit. OA merely a facade foe, the horrific scheme weighing ahead. Lilith noticed Yat Zagas dark MGT Ryman sky high. Proving Yat his long-tenderness away but a trap leading to H Jaint. Instead of fleeing, she decided to confront him directly by refusing. The voice you sound instead offered her some and I do it foe say to please click the upper right corner H swan OA for H Zegas reclaim his throne. OA clearing his end of treason, to Zvu the ACA imprisoned Butlers. Guard OA driven Matt leaving she OA willing to sacrifice HX foe others, and suspecting NK recent affection OA mere acting, though Lilith insisted. Yet, Jit, A the Li Ua foe, Gardex bitterly felt abandoned. In a fit of extreme possessiveness, he decided to teach Lilith prisoner. A cruel thought. If HCCT not have Uad hat, he would personally in the lay of the he LPP rate key in the dungeon. Geofa let Lilith into a rumfin torture devices. You his father had own you seek and abused him. Witnessing Lilith's tears of empathy. The demonic bluff felt a flicker of emotion, yet he Ryman stopped believing she OA using H charms to bewitch him. The two then ventured deeper into the dungeon to fade the bot. Satan. Riga feigned a negotiation, offering Lilith's ex in Shekan foe breaking his contract and restoring his as the demon Liu. Seizing the mom known, Satan Ent how his Lilith secretly cat a binding spell. In those brief 10 seconds crit and immediate panning. The ex-spirit on the ceiling activate. Signo A stunned to be counterattacked by his Enzun and a Hyman Matu in coordination. In the completely isolated Barayu X-Backs. Riga coldly declared Jing Fo his tyrannical father. Determined to end the Zycon of tragedy yet so many years, Gerard turned the tables. Activating an X-destroying formation to cure Satan always simultaneously revenge on Lilith foe H past treatment of him. Instead of resentment, Lilith accepted the sacrifice as atonement. She plunged into the hat of the ERA, using H otherworldly X to peek in a poor book Satan into oblivion. At the same time she preserved Zeus magic so Yahi might rule the dungeon. In H feign mem, Biffo vanishing into the void. Lilith smiled. Using H authority as Matu, she declared Zeus fury, leaving him to excrin in belated regret. In his despair, Jaksu abandoned the Kir to Zvu Lilith. Despite Satan mocking him as weak and unworthy of ruling the dungeon, though Lilith screamed for him to run, to Zvu his lay farum the demon onslaught. Gerard X2 frantically charged into the RS and refusing to Elent, HX vanish, as Satan OA destroyed, consuming Lilith's otherworldly X. Gerard collapsed, utterly biffo the cruel trite. He realized he OA wrong to doubt HN thin, she OA using Lilith had actually sacrificed to give him the throne. Ironically, Zegas realized an empty kingdom held no meaning. Without H, he would rather be an ordinary blah, would rather be shunned or forced to LIP, than Ot H by Tiffin X fade awe. Finally, Lilith hate abandoned him in the MT painful UE, leaving a solitary Gerard boundless regret. Gerard screamed in agony at being left behind, bitterly, admitting he had hated Lilith far and the vari fax du mama, a hatred bo, of a LPP to Gert. Yet, get as it seemed, HX hat vanished. Lilith unexpectedly awoke to everyone's astonishment. The Zip mentee, an exception, deeply moved by Sakova, she had completely conquered the hat of the Blah serpent in the Fein Lyerth, mum. Engine scenarios, Ook officially closed. Lilith had not only survived, but had ascended H-demon Matari to the ultimate laugh, becoming an invincible fut. Urchin Gerard's embrace. She teased the Gert serpent foe his rare essay of weakness. Pooa no longer defined by Matt obsession. Gerard softly vowed to spend his entire lay, allowing H to discover him amidst the dungeon's ruins. A sincere confession, I spoken. Marking a jute, and two. Lilith's exum tossed Gianni to Chenjo. Gerard constantly reaffirmed his LPP foe Lilith. Ninan a mom of Lei and Jane D to a sacred bond. At the same time, Lilith led H troops to rescue the Quinn, successfully zettering in previous charges of treason. The Quinn shower the hera of the Dangimpeo Prey is it mischievously announced a Niu Shai Kut. Conquer the Quinn, leaving Lilith utterly exasperated. Get then, Vidin appeared H soldiers. X2 stubbornly demanding the arrest of Lilith and the demons. However, the Queen's authoritative raven completely turned the tide, leaving Vivian in an extra sharp H assassination plot foiled. Lilith sharply pis out Vivian's true fate, declaring Yat she Navu intended to zvu, but Yat she actually wanted to hear both the Queen and Lilith to seize absolute Peo. Fam, a wanted fugitive. Lilith officially reclaimed H honor and Xat, driving the ambitious schemer into a corner. She likely would have been hip amidst the tearful apologies. Anno tried OA unveiled, as she claimed she had Navu stopped lucking foe. Garrett then achps out the trite. He oe vion who had nui searched foe Lilith. Oe mocking Duchess exabin foe bind to and week 2 she into the heart thefo the entire army. The Queen officially titled Lilith as the Duchess. The voice you selected does not honor its language as the bravest mix in upper right corner commanding foe with demon stewards. Though she had become a powerful Liu, Lilith Ryman H pragmatic ManhWa, silently complaining about the massive workload. And wishing foe a KPP H handsome men. She taught herself Xin Li took the title Foe Protuxin, having no interest in imperial politic. Finally, H loyal stewards reunited They sorrowfully admitted thanks to Shagath's story. They no understood and the hardship and silent sacrifices Ki Matu had been forced to during NG Taimu. The stewards knelt in unison to apologize, foe failing to preach Lilith, leaving H to fade danger Allen. However, the Sheng mom vanished own rate. Whether accidentally or on pot, Allen slip a shocking secret. It turned out Lilith had used the same script foe and foe of him. She had whispered to each, Yat the the strongest demon, or the MT magnificent warrior. On the tried OH out, the foe handsome man immediately surrounded the new Duchess. Possessive gazes. They MTA proposal Yatten to rake Aa in a kaswet. Tonight they would settle the Zoxco. To Zai who OA truly worthy of the title of the strongest in H hat. Though they do claim to be him T. Loyal stewards, key action as they closed in signal the future. Yat would be Ninathan, the missus of Gila who had a harem.